Shalom Israel. First and foremost, want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash, that honors the apostles and elders, great millstone for teaching us this truth. Peace and blessings to the whole collective Israel. Shalom. Yahweh is the name of the heavenly ancient Hebrew. By Hashem means the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back on our lesson, and as you see in the title, a famine is coming. Many articles coming out and saying of chicken farms being lit on fire. You have egg farms being lit ablaze. Now you have supposedly 18,000 plus cows dying in an explosion, and supposedly one person being injured from it. Which I have a quick video to correlate with this from the brother's channel. We have a few farmers speaking on the situation and how it's ultimately just complete bullcrap to especially hold that many cows in one area and for one explosion to take place and take all of them out, and supposedly one person to be injured from it, to be taking care of those cows. Come on. But let's play this quick video right here just to go a bit more into the situation and dive into the quick article to go into the bull crap they're trying to spout out, which could get a few scripts to go into how this devil's a liar and is not to be trusted, and ultimately how he's trying to cause and bring about this famine. So they're able to have more control over the food, to where you have to pretty much go through him, and guess what? It's going to come at a price. But let's play this real quick. Doing a solid intro.
18,000 cows blew up in an explosion.
I heard this story and I went, 18,000? Really? And they exploded? Like, all the entire herd of 18,000 cattle blew up? And then I saw this and I'm like, what? But miraculously, only one person was injured in this? Something doesn't smell right. I'm getting the distinct smell of bullshit. Because one thing I know, ranch hands, cattlemen, cowboys, when their animals are in danger, they are quick. They are going to make sure that they're not losing their animals. But do you know how big it has to be for 18,000 cattle? It's like,
especially watching over that many cows, wouldn't you even think there'd be more safety precautions to make sure that wouldn't happen?
26, 25 football fields worth of land? Bullshit.
Tonight, more than 18,000 cows, 18,000 are dead, and one person...
As I mentioned, a few articles that I brought up dealing with the chicken farms being lit on fire. You had egg farms being lit ablaze, and you already see the prices, with the eggs already. Now you're going to see even a more scarcity of the food, especially dealing with the cows now dying supposedly from an explosion. Recently to the prices to skyrocket even more, lead to a more scarcity of the food. You're going to see problems obviously arise from that.
After an explosion at a dairy farm. This
hey, 18,000 plus cows don't just die in just one explosion, especially just in one accumulated area, especially, man, and it just doesn't add up when you really think about it logically. That many cows in one area and supposedly just one person being injured from it. Just one person watching over those cows?
Texas, about an hour southwest of Amarillo, the Texas State Fire Marshal's office says the explosion happened at the farm and spread to the building where the cattle were being held. The sheriff's office held out that he believes that the fire there may have started from an overheated machine.
And also another reason why these devils need to be taken out, because ultimately they're the main cause of this. Order out of chaos. These devils cause all these problems, all this commotion, and it's Superman as a so-called hero to solve these problems. You also see this devil trying to push, his 3D generated meat or your lab grown meat, all this stuff, man. Now that you're seeing a more scarcity of the food, now they're gonna come out with the so-called new big thing. To solve these food shortages, to solve these problems.
Tonight, more than 18,000 cows. Yeah, 18,000 are dead, and one person is in critical condition after an explosion at a dairy farm. This happened in Dimmitt, Texas, about an hour south.
Well, to get the main point, have another video right here to kind of go a little bit more, just dealing with these farms.
Farms and stuff, they're all burning. It's like they're forcing a food shortage on us. Forcing a food shortage. Yeah, and all these celebrities are saying, all these celebrities are literally making videos of them eating bugs and crickets, and they literally say by 2030 we will own nothing and be happy. So they're going to get rid of all of the food. That's what they're doing. If you look at Bill Gates, he owns more farmland than anybody in the world. People.
And there's even articles or videos coming out of farmers. They're coming out saying they're being paid to destroy their crops. So I mean, you're seeing all these.
In China are allowed to buy farmland in America, but we can't buy farmland in China. So think about it. It's so corrupt. It's so corrupt. So they're gonna literally outlaw all foods, and we'll end up eating bugs and crickets. That's what they.
Guess if you want to live a so-called normal life, eat some good food, it's gonna come at a price, man. And you need to take that C hit. But I have a few scriptures that came to mind. Those would be find lessons. Jump into it. The second Ezra 6:22 now said, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Dealing with this famine that is brewing that you are seeing as we speak. Even especially dealing with the famine of the world. But that's dealing with the whole nother thing, whole nother topic. Read it from top one more time. Second Ezra 6:22 now, and suddenly shall sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. You're seeing your Walmart, your different stores, your supermarkets that you go to get your food, your daily necessities. You're seeing a lot of the shelves being cleaned out. You even have this tactic that they use where they pretty much spread out all the product to make it seem like they are full, or they still have enough. And look what happened with the lockdowns and all that. How cleaned out they were. Especially a little bit after it, things started to so-called stabilize, and now they start to, kind of, once again, as I mentioned, spread these things out to make it seem like things are going back to normal, when things are, matter of fact, getting worse. No scriptures came to mind. It's at the tip of my tongue, can't remember it. Give it a minute. I just slip in my mind, but the Lord will come back to me. Second Ezra 6:22 one more time. Suddenly shall some places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Now you're seeing these farms being lit on fire. You're seeing 18,000 plus cows dying. And let's look at the articles going to these fires done with these farms. Egg farm on fire. So it's not a coincidence that you see multiple of these things happening. Because it's right here. Not a coincidence that you saw the prices skyrocketed with the eggs. Now you're seeing these things start to consistently happen and take place. As well, you're seeing more and more train derailments taking place. Trucks carrying deadly chemicals tipping over. You're seeing the type of problems these doubles are causing and the reason why they need to be taken out. But we'll read a little bit into this and we'll dive into the rest of the scriptures. As a massive fire at top egg farm leaves estimated 100,000 hens dead. What does this mean for egg prices? And you can for sure guess what's going to skyrocket. And this took place in January, so a few months back. But it doesn't mean it was fully solved and things are going back to fully good again. Let's see. We probably play this video real quick. But let's continue on. Don't need to drag this out. His second Ezra 15 and 49, as I mentioned, you're going to see many problems arise from this. Many people killing each other over the lack of food. You're going to have people, stocking outside of Walmart or these supermarkets where people go in and buy food, and people being robbed. You know, homes broken into, people getting killed. Second Ezra 15:49, and these are the types of times that we are coming into, and show you how bad and terrible it's really going to get. Because these things will only progressively and get worse from here on out. And if you're not under the hedge and the protection of Yahweh Shema Shai, you are through. Now it says, I'll send plagues upon thee: widowhood, poverty, famine, which we're seeing brewing before our very eyes, sword, and pestilence to waste thy houses with destruction and death. So you're seeing these heavy plagues and pestilence that Yahweh Shema Shai is raining and barraging this place with. Going to show we're nearing, the end of this wicked kingdom. We're getting closer and closer to our Lord's return. Presented Matthew 24 through to 8, Luke 21, as well as many other scriptures going to the times that we are in and the things that we would see before Lord Yahweh shall make his return. Let's see, 2 Ezra 15:19. Another scripture that came to mind, victuals. Brak thou, shy. Let's get this real quick and we'll dive into the scriptures. This is one of the scriptures I was trying to remember. 2 Ezra 16:21. Now it says, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, thinking everything's all fine and dandy when things are destabilized and so-called go back to normal. I'm going to look what happened to gas prices, the egg prices. People were, this, what's the word I'm looking for? Angry, and in shock from seeing those prices, But when things started to stabilize, go back to so-called normal, then people started to slowly forget or, get comfortable. Now, watch this. Behold, victory shall be so good, cheap on earth, they shall think themselves to be in good case. Even then shall evils go upon earth, sword, famine, which is a key part of this lesson, the main point, and great confusion. Now you're seeing, once again, many of these articles coming out of these egg farms being lit ablaze. 18,000 plus cows suddenly dying. You cannot tell me that Esau Edom doesn't have his hand in that. But it's ultimately, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, but he's, putting the spirit on them to do these things. This is the work of the Heavenly Father, ushering these things in, using these devils to do so. Let's see, we stopped off right here. But, once again, another reason why these devils need to be taken out. I mean, look how just wicked they are. The things that they're doing to the animals and just the earth, and especially to the Israelites, man. Everything is suffering under this devil's rule. 2 Ezra 15:19, I said, the man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. And now you're going to see many people start to break into homes, killing each other over the lack of food. When people are hungry, they're not thinking straight. The only thing on their mind is filling their stomach. Putting something in their mouth. You're even going to have people committing cannibalism. And this is just a start of it, an example of what's coming. Though these things may not happen, as we speak, right now, but these things are coming. And guess what? It's only going to get worse, man. And you're seeing the build-up, the gradualism to that point, Because now these things are starting to become the norm. You're seeing more and more of these things happening, and they're labeling it naturally. It naturally happens somehow. Man. As keeps going to Ecclesiastes 12:10, which we're about to get in a minute. Never trust an enemy. When has his devil ever told the truth? Now it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy the house with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. And that just adds into the point of the times that we are coming into and how bad it's really going to get. Now Ecclesiastes 12:10, never trust an enemy, for like the iron rusted, so is his wickedness. He's not to be trusted, as many scriptures also go into and touch on. For example, Matthew, the 55th chapter in the 3rd verse, or the 21st verse actually, and also Psalm 58 in the 3rd verse. Going to how he comes out the womb lying, as well as, a smooth speaker, trying to cover up his tracks and make it seem like he didn't do anything or have a part in it, when that was the main cause of it. I mean, look at these, trying to be careful with my words, these diseases that are going out. Trying to space out the words just in case. Esau Edom has his hand in these things. We got a few more scriptures, and we will shut it down from there. As in Luke 21:11, more end time signs once again. As in great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences and fearful sights and great signs shall be from heaven. And you're seeing mass earthquakes taking place. You're seeing uproars of people in the world, which were my latest lesson, going to these riots that are taking place, and how there's more to come, and it'll be even worse. And these famines that you are seeing, especially dealing with the famine of the word. So it's important to seek out Yahweh Shema Shai, man, and gain as much as knowledge and this truth as you still can. While we're still within this grace period, man. While you still have a chance to repent and turn to Yahweh Shema Shai. Because the Lord's not playing any games, man. These things will only pick up. Scripture going to how the Lord's going to take care of us during this famine. During these chaotic and crazy times. Scripture going to, I believe, in Ecclesiastes. If not, I think 2nd Ezra. I'm pretty sure 2nd Ezra. Going into how the elect are going to have abundance. They're going to be well kept during those days. But now it says, read from top one time. Great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall be from heaven. Now let's get 2nd Ezra 15:11-12 to go into these plagues and pestilences and how it's of Yahweh by Shema Shai. Now it says, but I'll bring them with a mighty hand, and they stretch their arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before. Perspective book of Revelations, how we're how America is spiritually Sodom and Egypt, or aka Babylon the Great. It's spiritually Sodom and Egypt. Now read from top one time, but I'll bring them with a mighty hand, and they stretch their arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before. And will destroy all the land thereof. So you're seeing famines brewing. You had a year ago, you had locusts, swarming over there in Vegas. You're seeing right now the Euphrates River starting to dry up as we speak. And many other things are happening, taking place, man. Especially dealing with these, pestilences that we're sending out. You got new diseases popping up left and right. Now this is verse 12. Egypt shall mourn, and this foundation shall be smitten with the plague and punishment as the Most High shall bring upon it. And you are seeing it, man. Now we got 2 more scriptures, and we'll shut it up from there. Lord's rules edifying lesson. Ezekiel 4:13. And Yahweh Shai said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. And you're seeing the food is just completely defiled, all genetically modified. You have so-called organic, not really organic, full of pesticides, and all these wicked and terrible things that was doing. They need to be taken out and need to be destroyed. Those poor animals suffering. You see deforestation. Just all these wicked and terrible things these devils have done in general, man. Especially to the Israelites, man. They're going to pay. Not going to go they're not going to escape in general. Just go into it, man. Was Revelations 11:18, and we'll shut it up from there. I could get another script after this. I could get numbers 35, 33, and just many other scripts going to the devil's punishment, man. But it says, the nations were angry, and their rises come into the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great. And main point right here, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. Who's in power today? Go back to Job 9:24, Genesis 27th chapter, 39-40th verse, going to the blessing that Esau Edom received, which was the fatness of the earth, as well as the sword. Malachi 1:4, Esau Edom being named the border of wickedness. So, showing you who it's talking about, man, and who's in power today. Numbers 35 and 33, as I mentioned, how the devil's blood is required. He needs to pay for everything that the devil has done. Scripture going to how the whole creation groaneth together until now. Everything is suffering under this devil's rule, and you can see why. Poor animals that suffer through those things. I guarantee it wasn't just one explosion. They most likely lit them all on fire and all that, man. It definitely was not in just one area. 18,000 plus cows, man. But pretty much the main point already. Sorry if I sound like a broken record or repeating certain things, but Lord, you got the point across, and you were edified throughout the whole thing. I do want to give all praises, all glory to Yahweh Shema Shai, Bashem Kakadash, the Abundance Apostles, and elsewhere mills who teaches this truth. Peace and blessings to the whole collective Israel. And Shalom, Saints,